Hi, everybody. Rob Retzel here, recovering attorney and leader of the solutions team at AA Premier Properties. Today, I'm going to talk about the multiple offer situation from the buyer's perspective. And this is never a great position to be in. It really puts the buyer in a bind. You never want to hear highest and best. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, what's become increasingly prevalent, especially in towns around Boston, north of Boston, where I am in Winchester, certainly, what you're seeing is open house on a Saturday and a Sunday, and then offers due on that Monday or Tuesday by 5 p.m. typically. And then once offers are collected, the listing agent will either pick the highest offer at that point or come back to each of the buyers and say, okay, highest and best due in about 24 hours. Unfortunately, there are no magic techniques that I can tell you about getting your offer accepted. If there's a buyer out there who's willing to pay $50,000 more than you, you're probably not going to get that house, unfortunately. But there are some ways that you can strengthen your offer. With that being said, the first one is don't ask for seller concessions. If you don't know what seller concessions are, usually you'll have an offer $100,000 with a $5,000 in seller concessions. That basically means the seller is going to net $95,000 and be giving the buyers $5,000 back. Usually, it's used so that to help the buyers pay for closing costs with cash in hand, that kind of thing. I would not ever ask for that. That's the first thing I would waive if I'm in a multiple bid situation, because it just weakens your argument. What else can you do? Well, I think one of the most important things is to find out what's really important to that seller. So if you're working with an agent, have that agent ask the listing agent, look, what is the most important thing for the seller? Does the seller need a certain closing date? Does the seller need a use and occupancy agreement, meaning that you're going to allow them to rent back the property and stay there until they close on another property or something like that? What kind of financing does the seller want? I mean, most of the time sellers want cash. Obviously, that's the easiest. You don't have to worry about a mortgage going through, that kind of thing. But most people can't buy their primary residence with cash. But it's a good thing to know. So if you can fulfill some of those needs from the seller, in a lot of cases, that will strengthen your offer and sometimes put you over the top. And the last thing, I mean, there are many other things you can do. But another thing you can do is kind of play at the heartstrings of the seller a little bit. If you're a family and you're looking to buy your first home, maybe write a letter or picture of the family with the offer. Again, in my experience, that's not going to overcome an offer that's significantly higher, but maybe if you're close, that can put you over the edge and get that house. But really, at the end of the day, when I tell my clients all the time, we're not looking to pay over market value here. And when you have multiple bids, that's exactly what the seller's looking for, and that's exactly what happens. So, try to stay focused and don't overpay out there, buyers, because the way you get into trouble in real estate is by overpaying, even if it's your primary residence. I mean, obviously, from an investment standpoint, you definitely don't want to overpay. But still, even in your primary residence where you're going to be living, you don't want to overpay either, because eventually you're going to try to sell that house or refi or whatever you're trying to do. And if you paid too much initially, and in a lot of markets where, in my opinion, nearing the top, you may be overpaying, and there may be a correction, and you may lose some home value in the coming years. As always, if you want a free consultation on buying or selling real estate from an investment standpoint or as a retail buyer, give me a call back at 781-729-2425. I answer my own phones, and I'd love to discuss anything real estate related with you. Have a great day.